Hi, I'm Luke Baca, Project Manager from Books of Brilliance, and I'm here today speaking with Paul Seacacar and Kim Coville, discussing our joint mission to partner with communities where we can grow through education. Paul, tell us a little bit about your organization.
Well, first of all, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be associated with Books of Brilliance. You guys have done great work in Guatemala and Nicaragua, and if we can be a part of your organization, nothing could be better. A little bit about our organization, and I'm going to have to go back about 24 years. I used to take groups of kayakers and rafters to Guatemala, and I explored the Rio Sauce in November, I believe it was 1994, and found an incredibly gorgeous whitewater river in a pristine rainforest environment. And at that time in my life, it was really all about me and adventure and living the big lifestyle. One thing I noticed, and always going down these rivers, I mean, you couldn't help but notice it, is the extreme poverty of the people that lived in the villages along the river, the Mayan people. And the Mayan people have been marginalized for centuries. So I was kind of shaken in a way that how can you go by these people who need so much, and this is all about you? So that seed was in my head, and it remained in my head for all of those years. I retired from education. I came back to this particular river valley and went in and had a meeting with the people, and I said, if there's any way that we could help you here, what would you want? And they said, we want our children to have better opportunities than we've ever had. We want to have a school. And so I said, all right, we'll see what we can do. And within about 9 months, we opened our school, and we started with a group of 14 kids. And I say kids, but when we opened our first grade level, was like 7th grade, primer básico. We had kids as old as 23 coming back from out working the fields and that sort of thing to go back to school again. So people were just wanting opportunity. They just there was no access to education. The only education in the area was primary schools. So when we opened the intermediate school, I mean, the villages were incredibly grateful. And so that's how we began. We began with 1 grade level, and then we added a grade level per year. I mean, of course, most of the funding has come from us, and we are, from my wife and I, we are retired educators, and we don't have the funding to do as much as we'd like to do. We want to extend this project all the way up the entire Rio Sauce watershed. And right now we're just working in the Quechua Mayan village of Seacacar. So ultimately, if we're going to be successful, we need access to literacy. And if you go into a home in this village, and we as educators know about the kids aren't going to be successful in education unless they have access to vocabulary.
Sure.
So literacy books is a way to access vocabulary beyond what they're going to get in the home. There's no books in the home. There's no books in the neighbor's home. There's no books in the village. So literacy is absolutely the key to opportunity. And it's also the key to conservation, because if people don't have an opportunity to do something beyond what they do, which is slash and burn agriculture, subsistence agriculture, they slash and burn the rainforest to plant corn and beans. If they don't have the opportunity to do something different, it's going to be yet another generation living in extreme poverty, yet another generation cutting down the rainforest, yet another more and more species going extinct because there's no habitat, more and more animals becoming rare or extinct because people need to eat, and they're going to eat anything that moves. So the books, the literacy, education, opportunity becomes the key to conservation, not just ending extreme poverty. So, you know, that was a lengthy answer, but the project has become increasingly complex over the year. Over the last 4 years, we have a women's artisan project. We've planted approximately 10,000 hardwood trees in the last year. We're starting a sustainable agriculture project. We're going to be planting cacao, chocolate, which was a sacred currency of the ancient Maya, so in ways we are maintaining their culture, their traditions as well, reviving some traditions that have been lost. So we're in quite over our heads, and so the help with Books of Brilliance is incredibly timely, and we are grateful beyond words. Thank you very much for thinking of us and for helping the Kekchi Maya people of Seacacar and the Kekchi Maya people of the entire Rio South City watershed. Thank you very much.
Well, Paul, you're doing some amazing things to help the villages in Guatemala. And Kim, as a founder and president From Books to Brilliance, how does Paul's work relate to what our organization does?
Oh, this is a perfect project for us. To date, we have been working with 10, 11 villages and bringing access to books. Really what we do is create access to books for rural areas of Nicaragua and Guatemala. So this is very rural. It's up a river, am I right?
Yes, exactly.
And so what we want to do is create access. Most of the children that I have met in Guatemala and Nicaragua can read. However, they read off the blackboard. Is that correct? In their village school?
Right, they read off the blackboard.
Okay.
We don't have access to books. We're lacking just basic print materials.
Right. So the kids learn to read, but they never read to learn because there's nothing to read. So our whole mission is to try to get books in front of the kids so that they have something to learn. They certainly can read. Most of the children, if you hand them a book, they can read it. They can pick it apart the words, but they don't ever read to learn. So that is our focus, and this is really exciting because beyond the literacy component and the opportunity that it would give these children to have literacy, we're talking about reforestation through literacy, and I can't tell you how exciting that is.
Well,
that to me is brilliant. So if we can help save a rainforest, from trees to books to trees, right? So to me, that is absolutely the end all. So I hope we can find the funds that we need to do this project and really start with textbooks. I understand that in your village in Seacacar, there are 30 middle school kids with no textbooks. So we would love to start with that, but we envision a complete library starting from primary grades with beautiful new books where kids open them and they see gorgeous pictures and fun books like all of our kids have in the United States. And then reach through to adulthood so that when you get groups of environmentalists into Seacacar, there is access to reference materials for reforestation and organic chocolate, etc.
What I see this doing is sometimes I think change happens incrementally and it happens in a progressive sort of way, and sometimes you take a couple steps back.
Sure.
This access to literacy offers the potential for exponential growth, where we're gonna have a generation of kids for the first time in this community, a generation of kids that become adults that are literate, educated, and can access information about how do they care for their environment, how can you move into sustainable agriculture, how can you start a micro enterprise, and literacy is the gateway to all of these things, and it's the gateway to enormous change. So again, I couldn't be more grateful for your participation in this project. We would love to have you guys come down there firsthand and meet the kids and meet the community members and see what an impact that your work is having with impoverished people.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you, Paul. Your support from Books to Brilliance allows us to build new partnerships. Thank you.